brace yourself. Girls hockey is here. The winter sports season begins with girls hockey as it typically does. Live on SCC, the start of a new season, the optimism, the hope, the yearning for great achievements begins tonight. Woodbury pays a visit to Roseville, Mahtomedi, the Royals and Marauders to kick off our brand new year of winter sports, that is. I'm Mike Beaton, glad to be with you. Of course, our school year is still very much ongoing. Had a busy run as of late with our fall section coverage, and now we make the transition to winter, starting with girls hockey. We've got a Woodbury team that looks a lot different compared to a year ago, and a Roseville Mahtomedi squad that hopes to fare a little better in Suburban East play. They were about 500 a year ago. Woodbury had a terrific season, did not drop a game in conference play. They are announcing the lineups as we speak. Look at the coaches. It's a little empty along the benches right now, but that will fill up once players make their way to the bench areas. Last year, these two met middle of the season. This year, they kick off against each other. Woodbury has controlled this series over the last several years, but things are going to look a little different, so it might be tougher to gauge this one. Natalie Meter graduated. Brooke Gannett tore her ACL, so she will not be available this year, and you can see that's a lot of production they're going to lose. And then Brooke's sister Elena transferred over to the Centennial Spring Lake Park Co-op. That's going to make for an interesting family dinner conversation throughout the year, and dare I say, what happens if those two play each other? For Roseville Mahtomedi, their key graduations, Addison Andre, Sophie Martin, and Lily Peter Fezzo. So new goalie for Roseville Mahtomedi, it will be Aaliyah Osorio. We'll talk more about that following the playing of the Star Spangled Banner. The starters were introduced during our little pre-game pep talk, our version of it. But to recap, the front line, the starting lineup for Woodbury, it will be Pettengill, Boone, and Gronke along the forwards, Boone the center, Zhao and Adamson the defenders, and their goalie is to start the year, Alyssa Pulaski. For Roseville Mahtomedi, that's Scott Waldo, the head coach for Woodbury. Really high on Callie Pettengill, the 8th grader. That's Bob Sherry, the head coach for Roseville Mahtomedi. Their first line, it will be Eggleston, Hartman, and Moosebrugger. Among the forwards, Elm and McMahon, the defenders, Osorio, the goalie. As we've said, Woodbury has controlled this series for the last few meetings. They played each other 3 times, and Woodbury won all 3 of those games. 24-25 season. What will this year bring? We shall see. Because as we said, when you have graduations, a transfer, we'll find out just how deep Woodbury runs, and that won 22 games in all last year. Underway, the 25-26 girls hockey season, a sport that has really taken off the last few years. Down in part with the EWHL surging, and Woodbury wins the faceoff. They go on the attack right away, get a shot off. Osorio makes the save. Roseville, Mahtomedi, the Marauders wearing the white and navy. Woodbury wearing the blue. Takeaway by the Royals. It's tapped away by the Marauders. Still working on names and numbers, of course. That's Taylor Elm. Part of that lead defensive line. Icing waved off, just underway. If you're new to girls hockey, I'm guessing most of you aren't, so we play 17-minute periods. And that, it's played just about the same, and hopefully we won't have a situation like we did a few days ago with the Wild Coyotes game where well, we don't do reviews, so we don't have to worry about nets being dislodged. That would score, but something to keep in mind. Go back to the Roseville Mahtomedi zone. Woodbury applies some early pressure. Marauders bounce it around the boards. Now a takeaway for the Royals, but they can't form much of an attack. Mills trying to make something of it. Jocelyn Hibsch, one of 3, the team. 3 Hibsch sisters, that is. Briella, the senior, wrapped up her final year of soccer. This is Bricko controlling the puck up front while Woodbury makes a few changes, trying to get an early attack. They back off and reset. That's Kudin. Working on getting all the names and numbers down. That's not easy to do in the first game of the year. You don't have a lot. The shot from deep, deflected by Osorio. Another factor that hampered our prep a little bit. Another shot goes off the glass. Roseville and Mahtomedi both qualified to the state volleyball tournament, so that diverts a few resources. Roseville and Mahtomedi, of course, are separate schools, but they do co-op here for girls hockey. Barry with another dump, gonna wait for help. Gronke circles around, that's Haley Gronke. Often talked about graduations being a factor, but Woodbury getting some early pressure. A lot of time in the attack zone already. They dump it behind the net. Attempt to regroup. Mills trying to make a play for it. That will be a clearance deflected by Woodbury's goalie, Pulaski, Alyssa, the junior. Girls hockey, one of those sports where it's not uncommon to have the youngsters. Got Waldo again, highlighting Callie Pettengill. And last year, if you recall, in the 2A Girls Championship, Bill Murray won, and they had an 8th grader as a goalie. So youth doesn't mean as much from a negative point of view. It's not looked down upon like it was. Pettengill, Kudin, and Marissa Hibsch, all newcomers to the team. Now Roseville Mahtomedi together in attack. Kuden, a freshman, Marissa Hipsch, and Pettengill, 8th graders. But Pettengill already in the front line to start this one. Spent the last 3 years in Belgium. Waldo says she's got a bright future, and yes, for the 8th grader, the future is now. Woodbury with numbers. Shot, score! Alexa Bricko scores the first goal of the year. And if you had her on your bingo card, congratulations. You can check off a spot. 4:55 into the new season. Alexa Bricko capitalizes on the odd woman situation. Had a clear lane and dumped it. Royals on the board early. Again, this was a team that won 22 games, although with the transfers we'll have to see. We've got an offside call. We'll head to neutral ice for the faceoff. And you're going to see a lot of first goal of seasons on our graphic because this is the season opener. Everyone gets a fresh start. But this is a sport that has seen an upswell in attendance over the last couple of years. We talked about the PWHL, and if you watch the state tournament, we're seeing more spectators in the finals than we used to. Still has a ways to go before girls hockey rivals boys hockey here in Minnesota, but it is nice to see what is now Grand Casino Arena. Not so cavernous like it used to be. Woodbury trying to bring the puck up, take away from behind, and then losing her balance was Eaglestick. Player lost a stick. That was Boone. Recovers it though. Roseville Mahtomedi trying to pounce. Boone making some contact. As you know, checking not allowed, but there's still some physicality. Shot from deep in the slot by Elm, deflected by Pulaski. Roseville Mahtomedi retrieving it, getting it behind the Woodbury zone, a chance to change up the line. Of course, they were in front of the center line, so no icing to worry about. Most of you probably knew that. Woodbury, off-speed shot. Rister from Gronke is frozen by Osorio. That's Aaliyah Osorio. Getting her first start in the new year. Face off in the Woodbury attack zone. Won by the Marauders. They'll look to bring it up ice. Woodbury, again, don't quite have the numbers this time as Bricko fields the puck. Just clears it away. Miller winning the scrum momentarily. That's McKenna Miller. Roseville Mahtomedi retrieved it. Woodbury had to back off with the delayed offside call. Marauders have it again. Elm getting a lot of touches. Not ideal, of course. It usually means, as Woodbury is offside this time, face off at neutral ice. It means you're spending a lot of time defending the other team. Gronke, the top returning scorer. Bricko also with 14 goals. And Woodbury thought they had one. Puck still live. They thought they were able to glide one past Osorio. Whistle with 8:47 left in the first. Official checking the net. We'll have a face-off in the Marauders zone. Here's another look. Woodbury thought it was through for a second, or the reaction anyway. They win the face-off. Now back up. Pass it into the left corner. Trying to tap it in was Boone, and another freeze, another face-off. 8:33 left. Gronke and Bricko had 14 goals each. Madison Boone, 16 goals. Boone, the top returning scorer. But again, the big story is Elena Gannett's moving to Centennial Spring Lake Park. I don't think I've heard in a long time as Woodbury chases after it. This is Boone, 2-on-1 pass. Slightly off, looking for Gronke, couldn't connect. Quick moving first period. .743 to go. Now the Marauders have numbers. They're trying to push it. Not much there. That was Boberg on the attack attempt. Tries to center it. Instead, it's a takeaway for Sadie Roth. 1-on-2, tough angle, and her shot goes behind the net. Winter sports, a little more stagger. Girls hockey goes first. It'll be a few weeks before the other sports follow suit. But it marks that transition. Fall sports concluding. Winter sports beginning. Icing call. Back to the Woodbury zone we go. Another face-off win for the Royals. Lebacek bringing it up. Woodbury resets again. This is Jocelyn Hibsch. Again, there are three of them. So we may be best served by using first names. Mills gathers. Circles around the net. Back out to the slot. Scrum won by the Marauders. They have a 2-on-2, but they'll elect to clear it. Change it up. We mentioned Hill Murray earlier. Woodbury played them in the Section 4 2A final last year. Hill Murray won that convincingly 4-1. And you have to think the Pioneers would be a favorite again after defeating Edina. I don't know how casual viewers would take it. Pulaski gets a tap on the puck to carry it away. Shot deflected. Will glide over to McMahon. Now Hartman, top line out there for the Marauders. Woodbury's got it. Gronke again. Tries to put a deke on Elm. Can't quite do it. Boxes out, maintains possession of the puck. Passes back out to the point. Shot. A lot of traffic near the net. With Boone and McMahon in a tussle. Like I said, they don't allow checking, but don't confuse it for lack of physicality. Takeaway from Woodbury, not the numbers they needed. Cross-ice pass initially deflected. Roseville looking for another clearance, or the Marauders, I should say. There are two schools make up the Marauders. You do see a few more co-ops in girls hockey. Making a mad dash with Sadie Roth as we approach 4 minutes to go in the first. Woodbury with a 1-0 lead. A shot by Alexa Bricko. Jensen's got it. Pulaski with the save. And we'll have a face-off in the Woodbury zone. 3:52 left. Busy day. I came over from State Girls Volleyball. Had a couple of games that ran long. Thought I wasn't going to get here in time, but got here with just enough to get the lines and pronunciations down. Although I may file a petition to remove consolation games. No, I won't do that from the state tournament. It's that time of the year, though, when you get the overlap. It's more noticeable with fall to winter, because usually there's a week off during the spring, from winter to spring. But a little different here, so you get not quite the sports equinox that you see in the major men's leagues, but it all adds up. Shot for Woodbury as they were seemingly approaching the net in casual fashion. That was Bricko. Osorio with the save this time. Face off in the Marauder zone. Shot from the slot. Osorio has to freeze it again. She has been getting a lot more pressure compared to Pulaski on the other end. Here at the Roseville Ice Arena, which sits just across from Roseville City Hall. Pass got away. Woodbury's got it. Riel Hitch lost control. Marauders will clear, but they had not reached the center line, so back to the Marauders zone we go for the next face-off. 2:36 left in the first. Woodbury, a team that got to the section final. Will they have enough for Hill Murray? We'll have to see. Oh, Woodbury tried to get that lead pass. Had it found its mark, they would have had a good attempt at a second goal. They'll have to regroup. That's Pettengill, the 8th grader. The highly touted prospect by Scott Waldo. Go back out to the slot. They were trying to connect with Pettengill again. Now it squirts away towards center ice. Tracked down by the Royals. Here they come once more. This is Zhao. Finds a cutting teammate in Gronke. Osorio was ready. Under 2 minutes left in the first. Roseville, Mahtomedi changing it up again. Gronke out there with that top line for the Royals. That's Boone. She was cut off. Boone making a play, getting a stick check in there. And now Bricko is out there. He was looking for Sadie Roth. Couldn't quite find her. The Marauders co-op, they've only been around a few years. They were bounced in the quarterfinals in 5-2A, losing to North Wright County a year ago. Want a reminder of how things went. Under a minute to go, Woodbury wins the face-off. Pass doesn't find anybody, but it is retrieved by Jay Hitch, Jocelyn Hitch. Gonna get all these names down as best I can. Marauders regather. Icing called. Back to the Marauders zone with 31 seconds. First period that has been controlled by Woodbury, not necessarily in runaway fashion, but spent a lot of time in the Marauders zone. A few shots on goal. That one just wide right. Rebound attempt, not fully gathered. Woodbury passes back out. 20 seconds. That's Kudin across the slot. 15 seconds now as the puck is trapped along the far corner, and that may take up time. Woodbury able to get it free. Just missed again on the pass. They do get one more. I think it clanked off the post. That's the end of the first, with Woodbury holding a 1-0 lead over Roseville Mahtomedi on a goal from Alexa Bricko, just about 5 minutes into the first frame of our new season. We'll have first period highlights when we come back. This is high school girls hockey on SCC Sports.
Sit up, team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong, so I won't sugarcoat it. I need each one of you on your A game. The good news is, Anthony, the human body we've been tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with brand new gear to defend against the flu. That's right, we've upgraded our game with this new equipment. They give you a little extra boost. So let's go fight for Anthony, for his mom, his co-workers, that nice lady Patricia that lives down the street with the cute dog. In the face of viral adversity, we make Anthony thrive so he can protect himself and the people he loves most. Are you with me? Yeah!
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Emma, did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Buckle up! Nobody is more prepared for an emergency than Dogman.
With all your kung fu skills and your canine fortitude or whatnot.
But for the rest of us, a good plan goes a long way.
Come on, let's go!
So, whether it's an unexpected disaster or the world's most evilest cat bent on destroying all do-gooders,
Destroy all do-gooders!
you can help your family be ready for anything.
No time to waste. Will you get out of here?
Get started today at ready.gov/kids.
I never realized that I'd be taking care of a 2-year-old and a 9-year-old on my own. Sometimes as dads, I think we're too hard on ourselves. We get down on ourselves on not being able to, we're the providers, but we also have to learn to take care of ourselves. Self-love made me a better dad because I realized my worth. My daughter Isabella recently had a graduation into high school, and I got emotional because I saw pride in her eyes. I saw my daughter have her own self-love, and I saw the hard work of me being that dad 24/7 transferred to my teenage daughter. The word father means a lot to me. When I give my love to my children as a father, I can see it.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's, a master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I could not help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
My dad showcased a sense of love that I never had before. It felt like it was something that I've always wanted. I mean, he's not only my parent, he's like my best friend.
Learn about adopting a teen at adoptuskids.org.
All the images you've come to expect and enjoy as part of the hockey ambience is back. Our first resurfacing of the ice of the new season. Woodbury leads Roseville Mahtomedi 1-0. And even though in pregame we were talking about some of the departures, the absences for Woodbury, they still bring back a lot of scoring, a lot of production. When you look at their group of players, including Alexa Bricco, who scored a lone goal so far. She, Gronke, and McKenna Miller all at 14 a year ago as we look at first period highlights. And here is the goal. Bricco was able to take a loose puck. A couple of Marauders collided with each other. That opened up plenty of space for number 20, the freshman, to make her move. And it was a busy first period for Aaliyah Osorio. Fending off several shots. Pulaski had to do the same as well on the Woodbury side. That was an off-speed wrister that she gloved. But overall, Woodbury in control of that first period. And when you factor everyone they brought back, a lot of youth as well in that group, including Pet Gill, one of the 8th graders, Bricco, a senior, so he gets to score a goal in her what we call last game. And you can see it, shots on goal heavily favoring Woodbury. No penalties, that means no power plays. It was a quick-moving first period, some physicality, but overall, Woodbury in control. They will look to maintain that foothold, hoping to do one better after reaching the section final a year ago with a 22-win campaign. Second period will start in a little under 8 minutes. As we continue live coverage of high school girls hockey, it's the winter sports season opener on SEC Sports. Woodbury leads Roseville Mahtomedi 1-0.
Did you really need to buy 2 can openers for our emergency kit?
I can't help it. They're 2 for 1. What's this? We need to keep our family communication plan safe in case of an emergency.
Thanks, Tita.
Oh, man. Well, good thing we kept all the lights we used for Diwali. I've got the battery pack.
Keep my phone powered so we don't miss any alerts.
What about game night?
Sounds good.
Oh, we have to get to Mom and Dad's and get them somewhere safe. I've got the evacuation route loaded on my phone.
I've got an updated list of Dad's meds.
And I've got just what we need to get them to take this seriously.
If that doesn't convince them that we thought this through, I don't know what would.
Start a conversation with your family and plan together for emergencies.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Danny.
Danny! Labs.
Danny, we need to talk.
Danny! She's overdosing.
When no one else knows what to do, it's gotta be you. Carry naloxone. You could save a life.
I'm a different kind of threat. You can't call the cops on me. I don't even have to break in. I'm invited.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. It was time for me to change my life and the lives of my family, so I went back and I got my high school diploma. That was the catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's, a master's, and I became a teacher.
Mom, this is your very first yearbook.
Your commitment to education motivates me, your coworkers, and your students.
You showed me that if you come from nothing, you can still be anything.
You told me I deserve to succeed. It's been 15 years, and I still live by that.
You're the model for success for your kids, grandkids, and your students.
When I look at all these success stories, I cannot help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
I'm a different kind of threat. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me.
Do you still want to hang out after?
I don't want your money or your TV. I don't even have to break in. I'm invited.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. Getting my high school diploma was a catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's and master's, and I became a teacher. When I look at all these success stories, I could not help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Still about a minute or so before we can resume play. Referees making sure the ice is dry enough to play. I wonder what those presumed JV players, wonder what they're talking about. Maybe they're looking up our live broadcast and hoping one day they can make the highlight reel, just like their varsity brethren. It's more likely they're on TikTok or Instagram, maybe looking up the next 6-7 meme. I have to be careful with how I use that number now, as we wait for the teams to return to the ice. Marauders out there now. And the Royals are right behind them. The Roseville Ice Arena, it's a smaller venue compared to some of the other rinks that we've had a chance to visit over the years. Certainly smaller than a place like Aldridge. And some only have one tunnel out, so both teams have to share it. Others, like the St. Croix Valley Rec Center, another place we are familiar with to a degree. They've got the dual entryways. Season opener. We talked about Woodbury being a strong team, reaching the section final. Again, did not suffer a loss in conference play, 22 wins overall. Being in the same section as Hill Murray, we'll have to see how they fare against the Pioneers. Gentry Academy a few years ago, they were an upstart group in 4-2A. Cretin-Durham Hall, Stillwater, all part of that group, but it was Woodbury's reign. A year ago, you saw Roseville Mahtomedi in the middle of the pack. So if you're wondering how conference affiliation works, this is a Suburban East Conference game. So there are no Metro East factors, at least with this group. The two teams will meet again December 13th at the Bielenberg Arena, where Woodbury plays. Compared to other high school sports, schools don't own ice rinks, so they use the community centers that are around. As the second period is underway. Alexa Bricko scoring. 4 minutes, 55 seconds. into the new season. Her last first game, because she is a senior. And she and a few others may be called upon as the Marauders nearly book one and slip one through. Pulaski. Alyssa Pulaski, the junior. Smiling that one off. Store was right in front of her. It's my pontification and my reflections. I got to make sure we don't miss any action here. Woodbury on the move. That shot deflected. Maddie Mills trying to make the play. The two teams met 3 times last year. Woodbury won all 3. Takeaway, loose puck. Woodbury clears it out. Sadie Roth with a huge clearance. Gwynn led the attack. And an attentive Sadie Roth ensures Woodbury hold on to their lead. Backpedaling, now retrieving it are the Royals. Marauders clear. Woodbury close enough. And the refs waive the offside call. Back to the Marauders zone we go. That's Caitlin Roth. A scrum there. Klebacek also in there. And our first penalty of the game. Comes at 13:57 left in the second. Ripping was the call. Caitlin Roth in the box for 2 minutes. Our first power play. Presented by no one. Pulaski with the glove save on the shot from the point by Packer. Caitlin Roth having a quick laugh with the public address announcer. And that's in part because the penalty box, there are no dividers between the penalty box and the announcer's table, so have a quick chat. Oh! Woodbury nearly pounced on a loose puck. The last thing you want is for an errant play, an errant pass to turn into a shorthanded chance. We've seen a few of those in our hockey coverage over the years. One minute left in the power play. Marauders have it. Eggleston goes to the left side. Marauders swapping around. Hartman. Zhao gets there. Woodbury looking to clear, and they do. As you know, no icing when you're shorthanded. That will eat up time. Woodbury playing this one a little aggressively. Gronke was trying to get under it in hopes of a shorthanded pursuit. Now the Marauders make their way back up. This is Risty, cross-ice pass, shot, glove save, Pulaski. 16 seconds left in the power play. Pulaski making a couple of saves here in a power play scenario. Last year, save percentage of .928. 478 saves on the season. A couple of shots on goal, but Woodbury successfully kills off the power play. We're back at full strength. Marauders clear it. They'll change their lines. Woodbury trying to do the same. Marauders offside. Puck nearly wedged for a moment along the far boards, now retrieved by the Marauders. Packer again. Now Bohlberg under duress. McKenna Miller went down for the Royals. Now backpedals, then advances forward. Come to think of it, I'm not sure you can advance backward. Marauders and a one-on-one, and another save for Pulaski. Risty got the jump right into the padding of Pulaski, though, and Alyssa, the junior, getting a workout now. Marauders won the faceoff. Shot from deep, deflected. Picked up by Brielle Hibsch. She's warded off by McMahon. Puck bounces off the ceiling and down, and volleyball we would play on, but in this sport we have a face-off. .12 left in the second. Royals win the face-off. McElm able to get a touch on it. Woodbury gets the centering pass. We're trying to find Pettengill. Marauders have it. Here they come, Hartman. On it for a moment. Now we go the other way. Roseville regrouping. Lose it again. Shot by Kroenke deflected. Mills. Another scrum. Woodbury gets on top of it. They'll use this opportunity to change it up. Marauders get past center ice. Tried to clear it, but instead knocked the puck out of play. So we'll have a face-off in neutral ice. Woodbury's first home game won't come until November 13th. And they host Eastview. They'll take on Gentry Academy in December. And the puck is still loose. Osorio was not able to freeze it. Got the save, but let the puck just glide. I'm not sure she spotted it. Might have disappeared on her. Eight minutes and 10 seconds. Puck deflected, so no icing. That means Woodbury has to retrieve it. Marauders looking to apply pressure now. Out to the slot. Didn't quite get the full swing motion in there. We'll have an icing call the other way. Earlier I was mentioning the possibility as we take a look at a great opportunity by Bricko, who already has 1 goal to her credit. When it comes to Elena Ganetz, she won't get to play her sister. Again, Brooke recovering from an ACL injury. But Elena will get to see her old teammates. Woodbury and Centennial Spring Lake Park play each other then in the regular season. It's at Centennial. You might have to send a note to our friends over at North Metro TV. Might be a game worth circling on the calendar. Again, I think it would be a little more emotional if Brooke were available to play, but it's tough when you have to go your senior year as a spectator. Another icing call, another face-off in the Marauders zone. 6:58 left in the second. Scott Waldo looking on. So far, I'd say the Marauders doing a better job hanging with Woodbury in this period, giving them many of those odd woman opportunities like we saw. Takeaway. Jumping out was Jocelyn Hibch. Sure, it would not pose any threat. Woodbury's got it again. Well, that pass was deflected and nearly ended up in front of Gronke anyway. A bad try by Haley Gronke to make something of it. One of the seniors. Even with the departure of Elena Ganetz, a lot of seniors bring that experience. Scrum won by the Royals, picked up by Zhao along the far side. Finds Pettengill. Pettengill, can she get in front? Tries to do it, but the Marauders able to converge for the denial. Woodbury has it again. Back away, now they regroup. That pass went nowhere. Dow trying to get after it. Instead, it goes to Storr, Adele Storr. Barry trying to get another touch. Royals have been up their aggressiveness as we approach 5 minutes to go in the second. Sadie Roth. She made some big plays, had that big clearance in the first period when there was a loose puck right in front of Pulaski. The puck took a misdirection. It was gliding along the board, and I think it got caught up in that little gap between the board and the door. A break of sorts for the Marauders. Clearance, line change. Miller. Tried to swoop in. Now Jocelyn Hitch. Woodbury resetting along that back line. They keep it away from the Marauders. Last thing you want is a turnover on your own side of the ice. And things are getting a little dicey for Pulaski, so she'll opt to freeze it. And we'll have a face-off in the Woodbury zone with 3:45 left in the second. Marauders come up with it. Swatted away by Pulaski. Nelson with something of a runner, or at least the hockey equivalent of it. Royals on the move again. Roth went up ice. Osorio got a piece of it, I think. Marauders trying to play it off the board. That's Eggleston. And instead, it's just a clearance. Marauders will change up their line, get some fresh legs out there. That's a little offline. But picked up by Klebacek. Tao, shot deflected. Perhaps by Osorio herself. Now it's Risty from deep, over the net. Risty gets there first. Another shot from deep. Rebound. Pulaski comes up clutch again. Something I've noticed as Woodbury with the off-speed shot will get a face-off in the Marauder zone following the freeze by Osorio. But we've seen a lot of relatively uninterrupted play. You get whistles, of course, for offside and things of that sort, but we've seen a lot of fast-moving action. Not a lot of whistles, not a lot of tie-ups or offside calls. Just a pretty clean game. One penalty. That's it. There are 2 minutes left in the second. And this makes for an easy night if you're a public address announcer. Woodbury offside. It's Madison Boone trying to hurry along to get across the line, but couldn't quite do so. No, I see what happened. There was a penalty. I completely missed it. Coincidental minors. So we'll stay 5-on-5. Hartman, here's a look. Oh, you see a tail end of it. Okay. They got tangled up and started roughing each other. So that's Pettengill and Hartman tagged with 2-minute coincidental minors. So we stay 5-on-5, and they will have to wait until the 2 minutes are up, which will come at the start of the third period. Here come the Royals swooping down ice. Shot. Save Osorio. She'll freeze it. That was McKenna Miller zooming down ice. Here's her last defender. Shot went off the right shoulder pad of Osorio. Aaliyah Osorio had that space covered up well. Faceoff gets away, will go all the way back behind the Woodbury net. In terms of the penalties, I'm not sure if anyone is significantly disadvantaged by it. Face off with exactly 1 minute left in the second. Here I was talking about how relatively uneventful this game has been in terms of theatrics and drama, and then you get the coincidental minors. You have McKenna Miller break free and get a look. Woodbury wins this face-off with a minute to go. Both teams trading blows, but neither side breaking through. Woodbury hanging on to that 1-0 lead. Looking to add to it. This is Boone. Along the corner, tried to center it. Puck goes back out. Now Mills. He get there, not quite. .23 seconds. Cross-ice pass, shot off the post. Woodbury gathers. We'll get another look, but a lot of traffic for Gronke. Icing call with 10.5 seconds. So if Woodbury wins the face-off, they would get another chance. Boone collecting the pass from Brielle Hibsch. It looked like, and almost got there. Face off, won by the Marauders, and that should allow them to run out the clock. Well, Woodbury got control of it. Shot goes behind the net. And that will bring us to the end of period number 2. No change in the score, which means Woodbury still leads 1-0. Hartman and Pettengill will have to serve out the final few seconds of their coincidental minors when we start the third, but a lot of action as one of these two teams hopes to pick up that first win of the season. We're back in a moment.
There I was, 16, divorced, remarried with a baby, another on the way, and I could barely read or write. It was time for me to change my life and the lives of my family, so I went back and I got my high school diploma. That was the catalyst I needed. Now I have a bachelor's, a master's, and I became a teacher.
Mom, this is your very first yearbook.
Your commitment to education motivates me, your coworkers, and your students.
You showed me that if you come from nothing, you can still be anything.
You told me I deserve to succeed. It's been 15 years and I still live by that.
You're the model for success for your kids, grandkids, and your students.
When I look at all these success stories, I cannot help but think it all started by getting my high school diploma.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy. It's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is being prepared for the journey ahead. Love doesn't let any concerns go unsaid. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax. It always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects.
Achieving my goals as an adult was challenging without a high school diploma. With the help of an adult education center, I finished my high school diploma and it changed my life.
This yearbook is a testament to your accomplishments and how they have impacted all of us.
Getting my high school diploma made me feel like I can do anything. Now I can help the kids in my community achieve their dreams.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy, it's a commitment, especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax, it always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat.
Sit up, team. When I look around this room, I see a fighting team of brave antibodies. But the flu is coming in strong. The good news is, Anthony, the human we're tasked to protect, just got his flu shot, which supplied us with strong new gear to defend against the flu. So let's go fight for Anthony. Are you with me?
Let's work as a team to defend against the flu. Gear up with a flu shot to help protect others and reduce your risk of being sick or hospitalized with the flu. Learn more at getmyflushot.org.
Some people judge a book by its cover, and if you're not what people are looking for, you're kind of like a reject.
At school, it feels like everyone's staring at me, and I'm just kind of not really a person.
Sometimes I can't believe that you could be proud of me if I'm not proud of myself.
It just was hard today. Nobody was listening to me.
Think of our best times together. Let's do more of that.
Try to understand me more, and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
The bravest person I know is definitely my dad, 100%.
My friend Sean.
My daughter's Cynthia, and she was in the United States Army.
One of the bravest things he ever did wasn't when he first enlisted, it was when he found his first support group.
Our journey has not been easy.
One of the bravest things he did was when he asked to move in with me and my mom.
I felt like I was lost, and you gave me a place to stay.
When he decided he was going to go back to school after 23 years.
It was the better part of my life that I spent in the Marine Corps. Transitioning out, it's a difficult thing.
She went on foreign soil. She went to war. But the bravest thing she did is when she asked for help.
So I really appreciate it.
One 0 Woodbury over Roseville Mahtomedi. The season opener for high school girls hockey, the season opener for winter sports. Don't worry, the other sports aren't far behind. There wasn't any goals in the second period, but not for lack of activity. We'll take a look at our game up to this point. It began with Alexa Bricko taking advantage of a loose puck. A couple of Marauders players running into each other. She rifles a shot in at the .455 mark. From there, it's been chases, saves, some big defensive plays. One of the big ones coming from Zhao. We had a few clearances. And our two goalies getting a lot of action to Zorio and Pulaski, as you would expect, but some good goaltending in that second period. Knockaways, deflections, takeaways. There's little fighting swat by Pulaski. This was a chaotic scramble. Zhao able to get the clearance. Off-speed look by Gronke. Later, McKenna Miller. Neither of them could get through Osorio. Another one knocked away. Gronke's second try could not penetrate. Defense, the name of the game so far. Woodbury still holds the edge in shots on goal. They were even 6-6 in the second period, and power plays just the one for Roseville Mahtomedi. Woodbury able to kill it off. And we have about 9 seconds left of the coincidental minors on Pettengill and Hartman for roughing. But that is the second period in a nutshell. Just the one goal, and we'll see what is coming up. Like I said, today is the start of winter sports for us as we're done with the fall. Things will pick up a little later on. Girls hockey next week. I'll be there, Mounds View and White Bear Lake. Our first basketball broadcast will take place the following week. St. Anthony Village and Mahtomedi, November 21st. And then I'll be back with you November 26th, right before Thanksgiving. Northern Edge against Tartan. So get your turkeys ready. Maybe we'll have a few that night before Thanksgiving. Holiday is always a busy time of the year. And they are soon approaching, just like the third period, which will soon approach in just a few minutes. This is high school girls hockey on SEC Sports. Woodbury leads Roseville Mahtomedi 1-0.
Mom, did you really need to buy 2 can openers for our emergency kit?
I can't help it. They're 2 for 1. What's this? We need to keep our family communication plan safe in case of an emergency. Thanks, Tita.
Oh, man. Well, good thing we kept all the lights we used for Diwali.
I've got the battery pack.
Keep my phone powered so we don't miss any alerts.
What about game night?
Sounds good.
Oh, we have to get to Mom and Dad's and get them somewhere safe. I've got the evacuation route loaded on my phone.
I've got an updated list of Dad's meds.
And I've got just what we need to get them to take this seriously.
If that doesn't convince them that we thought this through, I don't know what would.
Start a conversation with your family and plan together for emergencies.
I'm a different kind of threat. I can't be scared away or negotiated with. You can't call the cops on me.
Do you still want to hang out after?
I don't want your money or your TV. I don't even have to break in. I'm invited.
Self-love made me a better dad because I realized my worth. Arapo way, you gotta pray for yourself, as well as for everybody else, but never forget yourself. The word father means a lot to me. When I give my love to my children as a father, I can see it. That's the benefit of being a father is seeing those smiling faces.
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I feel that I'm not getting the attention that I need, and it's a lot built up in my chest. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
Listening is a form of love. Find ways to support your kids at soundidouttogether.org.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
When I came back from the war, I was barely hanging on by a thread. I'm here today because of Tanya's relentless efforts in trying to get me healed. And says, Michael, I know you've got a plan to take your life today, but if you give me just 5 more minutes to love you.
5 more minutes, 5 more minutes, honey, 5 more minutes to love.
Michael has actually taught me what it looks like to accept help.
Calling all big thinkers. The world's climate is changing. These aren't new facts, but it means we must think in new ways about how we can live, prosper, and provide energy for our world while protecting our planet. Engineers are answering the call to create cleaner, safer, reliable energy. Solar power, harnessing the power of the sun to light all corners of the globe. Wind power, channeling a simple breeze to bring electricity to our homes. Hydropower, using the natural flow of water to generate electricity. Nuclear power, engineering advanced reactors that are safer, more reliable, and produce zero carbon emissions. Engineers are leading the way and empowering the next generation. Engineers answer the call.
When we have the food we need, we are at our best. We push further. We rise higher. We unlock our full potential. When we are at our best, we have more to offer the world around us. When we have the food we need, we make our communities stronger. Together, we can help everyone get the food they need to thrive. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Woodbury put up 22 wins last year. If you're wondering how that breaks down, they were perfect when they led after 1 period and 19-0-1 when they led after 2. Well, Woodbury has led after both the first and second periods. Will that streak continue? We'll have to see. It was a group that put up nearly 5 goals a game, 4.8 to be precise. But again, forging ahead without Elena Ganetz this year, and her big sister Brooke still with the team, but unable to play this year with her ACL injury. They lead 1-0. The second period, that was dead even. Got a whole lot of games coming your way throughout the winter season on SEC Sports, spanning hockey and basketball. A great time of the year. Of course, all those games are weather permitting. You know how it is. We're indoors, which is great for us, except when it snows. Osorio, those are unofficial numbers. 18 saves through 2 periods, and as games are played, of course, numbers will be populated as they usually are. That season opener is always a little trickier because you don't have any facts or figures to draw from. It really is the start of a new era, the start of something new. And Pulaski, she hasn't allowed a goal yet, so for the time being, she's at 1,000 for save percentage. How long can she keep it that way? We'll have to find out. Last time I checked, though, I don't think any goalie had ever finished an entire season without allowing a goal. Pull that off, well, you would probably be a state champion because you would never lose a game. Unless you put in a backup or something, but that's another story. Game 1, I always say, is the hardest to prep for on our end because you have last year's numbers, but when you factor in transfers, graduations, and even realignments, this is the first year of realigned sections and class designations. And we'll do it again in a couple of years from now. How it goes. So we start the 3rd period. Zhao slipped up on the ice to start, but we're welcoming in a new year. We can't wait to bring you more of it. Oh, Woodbury offside. What happened? Zhao was brief, but Zhao just touched that blue line. When that happened, Jen received it yet, so. Okay, I stand corrected. Face-off, I didn't see what occurred, but it's a face-off. I thought it was offside. I thought Zhao had touched it, but the line that is, but not go across it, so we play on. Penalty coming up on the Marauders. This will be the first power play for Woodbury. Interference is the call. So after the coincidental minors expired, we'll take another look. It was Boberg who tied up Sadie Roth. So the first penalty of the game assessed to the Marauders. Power play from Woodbury. Woodbury regathers. That's Bricko. Still has the only goal in this game. Shot right in front of Packer, so it goes right back to Woodbury. Cross ice pass attempt. Deflected. Zhao retrieves it. Finds Boone. Boone's had a couple of looks. Zhao back to Boone. Zhao had that big clearance the first period. I should say this second period. Bricko again. Back out to Zhao at the point. Boone tried to tap it over to Bricko. Couldn't quite do it. McKenna Miller. Back out to Zhao. Woodbury with the power play unit. Under a minute left in the power play, and the Royals a solid job giving themselves chances here, not allowing the Marauders any clearance attempts. Great puck control. Zhao shot. Bounced off the padding of Osorio. Now out to Boone. Shot wide right. Miller. Back to Bricko. Puck got in front, and the Marauders will clear it away. That should kill off the power play. Woodbury converted 29% of their power plays last season. Marauders able to kill it off. Return to full strength. Just needed that one clearance. Woodbury got themselves a few chances. Here's Gronke. Had it for a second. Hoosbrugger. Woodbury on the move again. Bricko. Couple of touches on the puck. Woodbury bounces it behind the net off the board to get some new players in there. Shot from the slot. That was Jocelyn Hitch. Went wide. Woodbury getting a few cracks at it. Team in search of new leadership. Their top scorer transferring to Centennial Spring Lake Park. Orioles called for icing, and as is usually the case, we'll have a better sense of rankings, who to look for. Season moves along. Back to the Marauders zone we go. Woodbury bring the pressure up. Shot toward the net. Osorio will stop play with 12:30 to go. Face-off won by the Marauders. No preseason rankings shared yet. I expect to get more. Here comes Woodbury. Gronke to Boone. Slightly delayed one-timer, but Osorio ready for it again. I think it goes to show you how attuned our goalies are. The only goal Osorio allowed was that breakaway look from Bricko when two Marauders collided with each other. Outside of that, they've been able to track just about everything. We've got 5 players all battling for the puck. It's wedged along their right boards. And now it goes into the possession of the Royals. Shot. Osorio got in front of that one, I think, on McKenna Miller. Royals continuing to pepper and pressure. Shot from deep. Off the boards. Back to Miller. Had to lace it Brielle Hitch couldn't quite do it. Shot, pad save. Brielle Hitch making a dive for it, lunging to cash in off that rebound. Those are sometimes the best scoring opportunities for two Hitch sisters. Working up. It still may not be done. Brielle Hitch, 1-on-2, and could not clear it. Drew Elm. Pettengill. Perhaps young woman of the future for Woodbury girls hockey. Zhao lost it. Back to the Marauders. I should say the Woodbury zone, the Marauders attack zone. But I feel like Woodbury getting a better foothold in this third period compared to what we saw in the second, where they had to fend off several volleys. 10 minutes to go. Just one power play for either side. Woodbury in control. If you look at shots on goal. But with all of the new faces and changes, it could take the Royals a while. You have to think they have a good chance of being up there, being in contention for at least a section title. But Hill Murray, I think they're going to bring their best. Here's Storr for the Marauders. Cross-ice pass, it's just in front of Risty, but you can't do much with it. Marauders cleared away. At least attempt to try to get the new players in there. Mills taking it all the way up and around. They center, Woodbury does, but no one there. Get a clear look. Zhao tries to tap it over. Roth and Miller also in there. Sadie Roth again. Sadie had a big defensive play. Kept this a 1-0 game for now. Boberg doesn't have the numbers. I think the best you can do is what you just did, dump it off. Wait for new lines to take hold. Woodbury does the same. Stick check by Boone. Unable to put it away from Packer for long, and they're able to send it, but no one there to do much with it. Boone again. Boone has been busy from that center spot. She is again. Pinched off that time by Moosbrugger. This is Gronke. Gronke also getting a lot of touches. Oh, nearly had a cutting Mills. Could have turned into something instead. Woodbury regroups. Gronke again. Lost her balance. Puck glides over to the right side. Gronke didn't see it. Marauders will send it the other way. Change up their line. They capitalize on some fresh legs in there. Both teams have 3 lines up front and 2 lines plus an extra on defense. This is Sadie Roth. Much there. Risty. Dow snatches it away. Trying to find Rico. Only to have that one pinched away too. Risty looks to clear. Now gets in front of it. But no one there for Woodbury to retrieve it. Now the puck finds itself behind the boards. It was dumped away. Roseville Skating Center and Ice Arena. Already their holiday decorations out. Where they turn their outdoor skating center into an outdoor skating rink. Five and a half to go in the third. Not much activity. We've seen a few tries, but something of a stalemate. Of course, that would benefit the Royals, who have that 1-0 lead, but it really was an unexpected breakaway opportunity. That is the difference in our score. Gronke dodging defenders, passes behind to Jocelyn Hitch. Got a look in there. Osorio with another stop. 4:48 left. This has been the story of the game. Just a lot of uninterrupted sequences, resulting in a lot of line changes, but most exciting development so far as the Marauders tried to pounce on Mills after the Woodbury faceoff win. Interference called a power play by Woodbury, where they had a few looks at the net. Other than that, this has been a defensive duel. Marauders trying to change that here. Shot, save off the padding, off the chest padding, that is, for Pulaski. Packer and a fellow Marauders teammate in position. Woodbury gets the squeeze play. Osorio ready, rebound, goes behind the net. Miller and then Bricko. But we remain at 1-0. And with the game as close as it is, I don't know if that favors the Marauders, if that an indication of their upswing, or if it's an indication that Woodbury might need more fine-tuning. Hard to say. As I could tell you from covering state girls volleyball earlier today, metrics are one thing, but playing the games are another. You do wonder, though, with this being 1-0, as the puck is now sandwiched along the far left corner from our vantage point, you do wonder when the Marauders will opt for the extra attacker. They can't do it right now. Gronke, Pettengill, shot, save Osorio. An extra attacker comes. They can't do it at this spot with the faceoff coming up in the Marauders zone, but Osorio again. A bad season debut, I would say, for a team that needed a new goalie. Osorio didn't see a single minute of varsity time last year for the Marauders. This is her new journey, first chapter. And a penalty with 2:21. This could be huge in terms of strategy. It's on the Marauders. On Jensen, here's a look. Got Woodbury player with the elbow. That was Sadie Roth. And a timeout called. Well, this is really going to hamper the Marauders here, because if they do pull the goalie, roughing was the official call. Saw a bit of the elbow. So to finish up, that penalty's big as we take a look at what's ahead for the Marauders. Next home game will be Cretin-Durham Hall. We have a weekend road trip to Duluth. This is through mid-December. A lot of conference games in there, including some co-ops. Rogers, another non-conference opponent. But they are going to be shorthanded. And we talked a little bit about Woodbury's upcoming schedule. Orono, that's going to be another barometer, I would think. A road game at Orono. You look at some of the non-conference opponents Woodbury has scheduled, and even if they may not be as strong as a year ago, it would lead you to believe, it would suggest that the Royals think they could make a run, perhaps dethrone some of the usual contenders in 4-2A. But the roughing call is really going to restrict what the Marauders can do here with 2:21 left in the third. I believe they call the timeout. Each team gets one, as you know. So Woodbury on their second power play, but perhaps more importantly, it's going to make things a little more difficult for the Marauders if they decide to pull, but they'll have to get the puck into the Woodbury zone first. And as we saw in the last power play, Woodbury did a phenomenal job until the end of maintaining puck control, and that's what they're doing here up to this point. Miller. Rico initially didn't see it, now picks it up. Puck gets away, all the way to the Woodbury side. Marauders opt to not pull their goalie. And again, that's where the penalty really hurts. Woodbury retrieves. 1:05 left in the power play. Takeaway by Elm. So the Marauders, they're going to need a breakaway chance. They get one. Shot. Save by Pulaski. Hartman got in front and she collides with the boards. Looks like she's hurt. Officials will stop play. They may have to put some time back on the clock. About 7 seconds ticked away. Hartman collided with the boards and she may have hit her helmet as she lost her balance. A couple of the Woodbury players are checking in on her, including Boone. We were just saying you would need, oh, here's what happened. That second attempt, she dove, got on her knees, then lost her balance, and that's what I thought occurred. Collided with the boards head first. Shaken up here with 1:01. Now, the whistle blew, and I saw 1:08 on the clock. A few seconds ticked away. I don't know if the clock operator heard the whistle right away. Olivia Hartman. Officials having a chat. Here's a second look. I didn't see much in the way of contact. She wasn't sent toward the boards. I think it was physics and forward momentum. You see Hartman making her way back to the bench. Being helped off by her teammates. Anytime you take a shot to the head, especially in a sport like this, you've got those boards. They're not designed to bend. They're not designed to give. Woodbury will take its timeout. It appears we have 101 again. We can't offer reviews, but I thought I heard a whistle. Maybe it came a little later, but from my vantage point, I think a few seconds ticked off the clock. Woodbury taking their timeout. We'll have a face-off at center following the timeout, and this is where that roughing penalty. That was called on Lucy Jensen. It really illuminates the adverse situation you put yourself in. We often talk about in football how holding penalties or pre-snaps or drive killers. Well, in hockey, especially if you're trailing, if you're leading two, late penalties, equally frustrating. Because as we said before, the Marauders, they can't risk pulling their goalie right now. That they potentially could have done if they were at full strength. So face-off, I thought it was center. It will be neutral, and we'll stay at 101. So that may have benefited Woodbury. Again, I thought a few seconds ticked off the clock. 30 seconds left in the power play. Another scramble. Woodbury will get to the puck first. Zhao ends up going underneath. Nelson had to go on top of her 30 seconds. Empty net now. Woodbury going for the dagger. We'll go back to the Marauders attack zone. And with just 4 seconds left, that's going to kill the power play. And the Marauders can make one last dash with the extra attacker. Empty net for the Marauders now. And Woodbury will have to fend off potentially one more charge. It all depends on who gets this face-off, of course. Face-off, I thought Zhao had it. This will help take away time. Jensen was going to head to the bench and then was told, no, get out there in case we get a shot off here. But the puck is wedged along the corner, and that's going to take away time. Everyone scrapping for it. No one there to retrieve it. And Woodbury will pick up their first win of the new season. The Marauders unable to mount one last attempt, and the one goal by Bricko turns out to be the difference in our score. That unintentional breakaway chance. It was a fantastic engagement of defense, but it's the Royals who win their 4th straight over Roseville Mahtomedi to start the new season with their first win and their first conference win. We always talk about this, the significance of conference victories, as we take a look at some of the highlights, including the one goal That decided the game. It was Bricko. You saw two Marauders collide. That left Bricko with an open lane, and not much the Marauders could do. From there, it was defense upon defense upon defense. A great showing for Osorio, goal notwithstanding, and for Melissa Pulaski. She made some big plays too, including late. That wasn't one of them, but that was still a big save nonetheless against Megan Packer. This was a big one. Pulaski, the big save on the breakaway chance by Hartman, who then paid for it when she collided with the boards. We hope she's okay. Imagine they will check her out because the Marauders have a game in 2 days. Woodbury with the advantage in shots on goal throughout, and no power plays converted. But it was quite the battle. I would say Roseville Mahtomedi held their own this time around. Does that mean they could be a team to watch, a sleeper perhaps? We'll have to wait and see. And for Woodbury, 22 wins last year. We'll see what they can do this year. Again, you have to get through Hill Murray in all likelihood and some of the other powers in 4-2A, but before you can get there, you got to start with game one. And it was a splendid start that leads to the first win of the season. 1-0 the final. Alexa Bricko, your lone goal scorer. And that will do it for our season premiere of winter sports coverage live on SEC Sports. Join us again next Thursday. We'll be at White Bear Lake for more girls hockey. But until then, this is Mike Beaton thanking you for watching live coverage of high school girls hockey on SEC Sports. Woodbury beats Roseville Mahtomedi 1-0. We'll see you next time.